Speak Life Radio.
Yo, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Speak Life Radio right here on GorillaCross.com, SpeakLifeRadio.com, the Gorilla Cross app, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Instagram Live, Twitter Live, Twitch Live. We are everywhere live. I'm your host, Quan59, and we have a big, dope show for you once again tonight, broadcasting live from downtown Las Vegas. Download the Gorilla Cross app. It's free. I want everyone to download that. Let us know you got it. Take a screenshot. Put it on your Instagram. Let us know you downloaded the app. Hold up your phone, have someone take a picture, do whatever you have to do to let us know you downloaded the app. And on Friday, we're giving away $20 to a random that tags us on the photo with you downloading the app. So make sure you guys get that. Make sure you check it out right now, right here. Broadcasting live from downtown Las Vegas. We are here live every Tuesday, 8 p.m. West Coast time, and every single Friday, once in a while. Not every single Friday. Once in a while on Fridays, 2 p.m. West Coast time, right here on Gorilla Cross Radio, man. We definitely appreciate everybody for tuning in. Please share the live video stream with your people. Share it now. We definitely appreciate all the shares, all the likes, all the reactions. That helps with the algorithm. You guys might not get that, but it definitely helps with the algorithm a lot. So please do that for us right here on the show. We appreciate it. Got my man Joe Syke back in the building after taking a week off. What's good?
Oh, man, what's up, y'all? What's up? Everything's good. Everything's good, man.
Yeah.
Super busy week. Super busy.
Bro, we're going to have a really good show today. We had Aaron Cole on the line last week. Really great interview. I know you were watching it. You were chiming in. Your name was actually on the show.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We had the name tag wrong for a little bit. But listen, man, it was a really dope interview. And he talked about his dad a lot. And so our interview today, we're going to get him on the line in just a second, is Aaron's dad. But we don't want to just introduce him as Aaron's dad. Like, we're obviously going to talk about that because he's been a big influence in Aaron Cole's life. But there's a lot of other stuff that he does as well. And so we'll get into that too. But a lot of people in the comments last week were saying, you guys need to get Kelly Cole on. And I'm like, you know what? That's a great idea. I think that's something we need to do and we should do. So we're going to do that here in just a minute. But before we do that, I want everyone to shout their city. Let us know where you're listening from, where you're tuned in from right now. We want to shout you out, shout out where you're from, because we get people from different countries. Canada's been hot lately.
Make me say that like every episode.
Canada
right?
has been hot, man. They've really been supporting. I think it's because they can't do anything. Still on lockdown, so.
Oh, man.
They're bored. That's why they watch our show.
Like, hey, we'll just watch Gorilla Cross. It's all good.
Exactly. Exactly. But we're going to be doing live music and video reviews tonight, too. After the interview, Kelly Cole might stay on to tell you how bad your music is also. So we will be doing that tonight on the show. So if you haven't submitted yet, please go to the Speak Life Facebook group, Speak Life Radio, Positive Hip Hop CHH Facebook group. And you can submit there. So go to Facebook, submit there. That's the only way we're taking submissions right now. We will be doing some email submissions in the future, so stay locked in for that. Got my man TSO from Chicago, Justice Swagger from Colorado Springs. Shout out to everyone. This is the first time we're actually streaming live on Instagram also, even though it's just my face. I might switch it up so you guys can see the whole
I was gonna
video
ask.
Screen right there.
Yeah, I was gonna
kind of
ask.
blurry.
When you said Instagram, I was like, wait, I thought we don't do Instagram because of the feed, the chop.
Feed's a little choppy, but if you are watching on Instagram, because we have some followers on Instagram that aren't on other social media platforms, please jump over and give us some likes. You could touch the screen before you leave, but jump over to YouTube or jump over to Facebook and help us there. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We need you guys to subscribe on YouTube right now. We've actually got quite a bit. It was really hard getting to 800, and ever since we got to 800 like a month ago, we're at 830 now. So, but we want more because we had 831, so someone left. I don't appreciate that. But we don't look at numbers, right?
We don't.
We don't care. I actually just looked at it. But listen, man, who else we got? We got Greg Jackson from Fort Myers, Florida. Is that anywhere near Jacksonville? Because I'm supposed to be in Jacksonville for UFC in 2 weeks. K-Dog from the Video Guy in Bristol, Tennessee. What up, K-Dog? We appreciate everyone for tuning in. Joe Seif here from, where are you originally from?
I'm from Fresno, man, from the east side.
Hey, east side of Fresno.
Yep.
All right, without further ado.
Yeah, let's get into
it. We talked about it, and this is definitely exciting for me. I didn't want to get anyone else on. I was reaching out to him, hoping he could do it because we talked about it last week, and I guaranteed our followers and viewers and watchers and listeners of the show that we would get Kelly Cole on. So without further ado, let's give a warm Speak Life Radio welcome to the man, the father of Aaron Cole, but so much more, author, speaker, publisher. I don't know what else he does, but we're going to get into all that tonight. Kelly Cole, live on the line. What's good, bro?
Pick up.
What up? What up? Thank you guys for having me.
Dude, thanks for getting on with us. I know it's late over there. Where are you at?
I am in Bristol, Virginia. It is 11:13, way past my bedtime, but I had to do this for you guys.
Okay, look at that, man. 11:13 on the East. It's even late for us because I know we're feeling a little tired. I've switched my schedule up, so I'm not doing the vigilante hours anymore.
Vigilante.
So I've been going to bed a little bit earlier, but we appreciate you staying on so late with us, man. Sure. I know there's a lot of knowledge that's going to be dropped today, so I'm excited for all the viewers and listeners to be able to get some of the knowledge that you have and that you're going to share with us tonight. But real quick, before we get into it, man, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into everything you're doing right now? Because you do a lot, man. Tell us who Kelly Cole is.
Man, grew up in Chicago. Shout out to, I heard my man TSO is in the building.
Yeah.
But I was born in the Cabrini Green housing projects in Chicago. Most people don't know what that is, but that's where they film Good Times. That's where they make the movie Hoop Dreams. And what else? What else was filmed over there? Candyman was filmed over there.
Great movie.
And the movie Cooley High.
Okay, Cooley High, man, the classic.
Great movie. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was born there, moved to the west side of Chicago, grew up there, and moved to Virginia with my dad sophomore year of high school. But spent throughout my whole life going back and forth. My mom still lives in Chicago on the west side. So grew up in Chicago. I always tell people I was a born entrepreneur. So I started my first business at the age of 6. So kind of how like I've developed, this entrepreneur spirit. It was birthed in me from a young age. Me and my sister opened up a candy store. We took all of the candy out of the house, her little table and chairs, and set up a candy store in front of our building. Wow. So that's how my entrepreneur spirit was birthed. But throughout the years, man, I've had, 2 clothing stores, restaurants. I used to be a DJ. I was a barber for 10 years. I did a bunch of things before I found my passion. And, we may get into it later, but once I started having kids, I had Aaron at 19. I ended up getting a job, well, actually 2 jobs. I was working at Walmart during the day and Blockbuster at night before I found my passion.
Wow. Blockbuster. I miss Blockbuster.
Oh, yeah.
I miss Blockbuster, man. It's not the same. That's a lot, man, and that's a young age to have a kid. So what was that like being 19 years old, knowing you wanted to be a businessman and doing all these things, and then bam, now you got a kid. What was that whole process like for you?
Yeah, so my original dream was to play football, man. I wanted to go to the NFL, and I went to college on a partial scholarship to a college called UVA Wise. It's a Division II of University of Virginia. And probably the first, week when I got there, I realized I didn't love football as much as I thought I did. Because college is a whole nother level. My dad kept telling me, like, look, son, because I was the man in high school. He was like, look, son, that little MVP trophy you got from high school don't mean nothing. He's like, when you get to college, everybody's good. And he wasn't lying. Everybody on my freshman floor was the MVP of their high school. And I went to
Wow.
college and found out very quickly I didn't love football as much as I thought I did, and ended up leaving school. And then probably a month later is when I found out Aaron was on the way.
Wow.
But it was quite overwhelming, man. I was there for the whole thing. I watched him come out, and while his mother was in birth, I didn't know what was going on. I was having labor pains while I was at work. I was at Blockbuster, like literally laying on the floor with back pains,
Wow.
and she was in labor, and I ended up going to the hospital, seeing him being born, man. And I remember just taking it all in. And after he was born, I went to my car and I literally cried out loud for an hour. And so I always tell people, I went in that car, boy, I came out a man, and it was grind time.
So from that day, it pretty much changed your life.
Period. Yeah,
now,
I was in the same sense.
Now you don't just have to take care of yourself or a woman. Now you have a whole child that you guys have to raise up. You got to make sure it's fed, clothed.
For sure.
At an early age of 19, I couldn't imagine that. 19, I was trying to collect basketball cards, Kelly.
For sure. I had all that, basketball cards, starting lineups, the whole nine. But, when I had my son, I was collecting sneakers, the whole nine. I sold all that stuff, man, to take care of him. And I remember at one time when he got a little bit older, he was like, Dad, why did you sell all your shoes and stuff? I said, would you rather eat or would you rather your dad have, cool sneakers?
That's funny, man.
That is funny. Oh, man.
It's true, but some fathers would make their kids starve a day or two to keep their Jordans.
Bro, I remember when...
Not at all, man. My mission was always to make his life better than mine.
Yeah.
So he was wherever I went, and he always ate before I ate. He was fresher than me for years. Most people don't know this, man. Up until Aaron turned 18, I didn't buy anything for myself. Like, I didn't buy clothes. I took my brother's hand-me-downs, and my brother used to work for Finish Line, so my brother would give me either his old shoes or he would give me shoes for my birthday or Christmas. But I didn't buy shoes. I didn't buy clothes. I wore the same 2 pair of khakis to work every day. I just washed them with holes in them. If I get a hole in them, my wife would sew them up. But all while my kids were growing, man, I didn't buy me anything.
Wow. I mean, that's sacrifice right there. That's knowing what your purpose is and knowing got to take care of the kids first, man. And I think we see that in a lot of younger parents that they don't get that, though. So what made you get that?
Well, just like I said, coming from nothing, being born in the projects, man, and coming from nothing and literally, struggling for everything I got, I made it my mission that my kids would never struggle or want for anything, and that I was going to give them the best opportunity at life, period. So, like I said, when Aaron went everywhere with me, like, that was my little dude.
Yeah.
And when I saw he could rap, that was it. I just, put the mic in his hand and started writing his rhymes. And then about 7th grade, when he told me he wanted to do this, I was like, all right, let's do it. And I focused 100% on helping him, get to the position he's in right now.
Now, before 7th grade, did you see something in him that was telling you he could actually be something to make it? Or was it not till he actually said something to you that you realized it?
Well, that wasn't really the goal. So I got saved at a Christian hip hop concert. So the artists were Ricky B and Forgiven. I don't know if y'all know them, but old school cats. I still love those guys and talk to those guys to today. And got saved at the Christian hip hop concert, came home, built a studio.
Wow.
And was recording my brother doing Christian hip hop. And I looked over, Aaron was 3. I looked over him, Aaron was rapping all of my brother's lyrics. And I was like, man, he got something. So I'm going to write him a little rhyme, see if he could do it. And I wrote him a rhyme called Jesus is the Rock, and you can go see it on YouTube right now. He recorded it right then. That was his first time hearing the record and recording it right then at 3 years old.
It's crazy.
And I was like, man, this kid is special. I said, I'm going to feed it, but we're not going hard until he says, Dad, this is what I want to do.
That's good.
So all throughout, from 3 years old up until when he was in middle school, in 7th grade, he came home one day. He was like, Dad, this is what I want to do with my life. And I was like, I got you. Let's go. I said, first thing first, you got to realize you can't do what everybody else is doing now. I said, if you decide in this life, you're going to miss some fun. You're going to miss some parties. You're going to miss some basketball games. You're going to miss some football games. And he was like, let's go.
Wow. That's important, and we talked about that last week with Aaron. The importance of having you there and to be able to push him, and being at that young age where in music, you know how this is, Kelly. In music or any type of business, especially with music, there's such a fine line. Especially when Christians start, we see it all the time where they jump over and they cross over to the popular side of music, to the mainstream. And without your guidance, he could have easily did that. So what was your main key this whole time, knowing that there was going to be a chance for him to go one way or the other? What was your main key and focus in on him to keep him straight?
Yeah, well, he knew the mission from the beginning. Our mission from the beginning was to the reason I started doing even Christian hip hop and producing and recording my brother and recording Aaron was to introduce people to Christ the same way that I was introduced to him. It was young people that looked like me, dressed like me, but knew the word of God, and they were unashamed. So that was always the mission. Our goal was never to, get a record deal or Aaron blow up or this or that. So he always knew the foundational mission. And when things start to happen, we always talked about is like, yo, if you ever decide to go the other route, just know I'm not going to be a part of that. That's not something I'm interested in. And, as the older he got, he started more and more to understand it was his actual calling to stay, down with Christian music and Christian, not just Christian hip hop, but Christian music in general.
Yeah.
Like Aaron is called to this. It's not like he really didn't have a choice far as like choosing. He could have chose because we all got free will, but he would have been out of the will of God. Not to sound too churchy, but it's just the truth. Like Aaron has a gift. He has an anointing. He's called to reach so many people. And so I don't think he really had a choice. Or he wouldn't have been able to rest if he tried to switch up and go another way. No, I don't think he would have been successful.
No, I think we've all been there at times in our lives, right? When we try to run away from what God's called us to do, right? We might be successful. We might have a skill doing something else, but if you're running from the call of God, he might let you be successful for a little bit, but you'll never feel that inner peace. And that's huge.
Not at all. You'll never. I don't know if he talked about. There was a period where he, this young lady came into his life.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Oh, we talked. Listen, man, that was like half an hour.
Yeah.
So the crazy thing, I don't know if he told you this part. Like, there's been like milestones in Aaron's career where, in my prayer time, like God has literally given me a word for Aaron, and it has came true every time. So right before this young lady entered the picture, I was like, Aaron, Lord, show me it's time. You're about to get the song that's going to take you to the next level. Your career is about to go to the next level. And he said, okay, cool. 2 days later, this girl pops up on the scene, and I'm like, yo, who is this? And he goes, yeah, this is my girl, Leah. And immediately it vexed my spirit. I was like, something about her I don't like. It's like, something ain't right. And I told him that. I was like, yo, something ain't right. And the following Sunday, she walked past me in church, and I got angry. So angry that I went to the altar, and I said, Lord, why am I angry at this young lady? Like, she didn't do anything to me. And he said, you're not fighting against flesh and blood.
Wow.
You're fighting against a spirit.
Man.
And I was like, Aaron, this young lady has been sent to destroy you and destroy everything that we've worked for. And man, I don't know if he told you how hard-headed he was, but it got to a point.
He did, man. He told us about sneaking some calls. When he doesn't think you knew, but I'm sure you probably knew that he was still sneaking and talking and stuff like that. But and that's the thing, man. Going back to what you said about she was there to destroy his call and to knock him off path. That doesn't necessarily mean, if someone tells you that doesn't mean that woman was evil or that woman even had evil intentions.
Right. Speak on it.
It's just the fact that wasn't God's will, and the devil would have used that, the enemy would have used that to distract Aaron. Not necessarily that the girl was bad. It's just that wasn't God's will. And when you walk out of God's will, that's what happens. And it doesn't always have to be this evil thing. And I think we always think that, well, everything's good though. Everything, like, they're a good person. This is a good person in business and anything. I'm sure you have a lot of stories to tell about business too, Kelly, with the same type of situations where like, this is a good person, but I'll be out of God's will if I move forward with this.
For sure. Yeah. And it's just a spirit. It's a spirit thing. So it's all about obeying the spirit of God and what it's telling you to do.
Yeah.
It wasn't the season for him to be locked with this young lady. You know, it could have took him way off path. So, but yeah, man, I thank God he snapped out of that. Probably a week or so later, that's when he got right on time. And bam, his career, went to another level. But yeah, man, that was a rough time because that was another period. I was like, yo, you can play with your life, but you're not going to play with my life.
Yeah.
And I've literally sacrificed, I could have been doing, like, instead of booking his tours, I could have been booking tours for myself, doing speaking engagement. And I don't know if he told you, literally up until Aaron turned maybe 20, I've recorded every studio session, every concert he's had. I have all the footage, all of the clothes, all of that. So eventually I'm going to make an Aaron Cole museum in Bristol. But but yeah, man, all of the footage. I got every studio session from 3 years old, probably all the way up until 19, 20 years old. Every concert, every show, everything. I was there.
That's amazing.
Wait a minute. No, I forgot this. I just thought about this. Every basketball game, every football game he had. I got all of them.
Wow. Now, how do you do that without being a Joe Jackson? How did you deal with that with your son without pushing him too hard to where, because I see it all the time, no matter how talented the kid is, sometimes the parents are too hard, whether that be in sports or music. How did you maintain that steady balance of, still being a good father, pushing him, but not pushing him to the point where he didn't want to do it anymore?
Yeah, because it was always his choice. So it was never me wanting this for Aaron. It was always his choice. Yeah. Like, yo, is this what you want to do? Cool. If you want to do this, we're not going to play with it because nothing I'm going to do is going to be halfway. So there were times, I was tough on him. Like, it was literally boot camp. So it wasn't maybe some Joe Jackson in there, but we wasn't going to play with it. I don't care if he went out there and the audience thought he did an amazing job. Me and him know that was some BS, and I was going to call him on it. Yeah. He'll tell you, I've never sugarcoated anything. I've never been the person who says, oh, son, that was great, and we both know it was some crap. No. And part of the reason why I recorded everything, so we can go back and watch it, and I can tell him what he did wrong and what we need to improve on. So it's just like watching game film, and it was all about, hey, if this is what you want to do, you've got to work at it the same way someone who wants to go to the NFL or the NBA. So that's how I looked at it. Every day, Aaron had to run the hill and perform his 30-minute set. Then he had to come to the top of the hill and perform his 30-minute set as if he was performing in front of a crowd.
That's
then
crazy.
He had to write me a song every single day. It wasn't a day he didn't have to write me a song after he'd done his homework and done his chores. So it was boot camp. So it was the same way like Kobe was in the gym. Yeah. And then, there were some days he didn't have the creativity to write a song, but he did it. He pushed through it. But that's why he's as skilled as he is now, going through that boot camp. And I just sent him a text a couple of weeks ago. I was like, yo, it's time to get back to boot camp because you're about to go to another level. You got to get back in the gym. You got to get back in the gym, shoot some free throws, get some shots up. And that's how I looked at it.
That's crazy. Just seeing that in hip hop, it's a lazy genre, right? Where it's so easy to get a beat, write a couple rhymes, and putting it out on SoundCloud. Now I'm dropping my new single tomorrow. I'm dropping a new video, and they record their video real quick. It's such a lazy genre, and we say everyone could do it, right? Everyone's out there rapping, everyone's making some music, but Aaron's actually made it. He's signed to Goatee Records, Toby Mac's label. Yeah. He's been highly successful at a very young age. And you see the difference between somebody just saying, I can make music and just write over a beat, and somebody that actually went in to a boot camp. A legit boot camp. Yeah. And practicing and writing. How many of those songs that he had to write for you every day were songs that maybe he actually has put out?
Yeah. So when we went to, so out of those, I think we did a 30-day task where he had to write a song for 30 days straight. And at the end of the 30 days, I checked him out of school early. I checked him out of school probably right at 11 or 12 o'clock because he had a test in the first or second period. I checked him out of school, took him to the studio, and we recorded, I think 15 songs in one night. We left the studio at 2 a.m. and we put out a mixtape called the Takeover Mixtape. So we released a lot of those joints.
Wow.
So we was working. So we could see it, like, and it's documented. I checked them out of school. We recorded a whole mixtape in one night. I'm talking about 15 songs back to back to back to back to back to back. And
that's the first project you put out, right? About 2013.
This is a project we put out, not on Sign. This is before. This is all indie.
Yeah.
And then when we went to Goatee, we had 100 unreleased songs.
Okay.
But only one of them made the cut. Like, and then when fans asked me, "Yo, what's your favorite Aaron song?" It's like, it's a song you'll never hear. You know what I'm saying? He has that many songs.
Wow.
Like, God forbid something happened to Aaron. He's like a Tupac. He has so many records that people will never hear that are amazing and still relevant to today because we developed that work ethic.
Yeah.
And he has that, you know, and that's why when he came to the point where he was performing in arenas with Toby, he wasn't scared because anywhere I could put him up and have him perform, I had Aaron performing at nursing homes.
Yeah.
I had Aaron performing anywhere he can get up so he can get used to performing in front of different crowds, and he knows how to work the room. So that's why I always tell people, like, they'll say, "Man, Aaron did good." I was like, "He did all right." Aaron's a performer. He's a professional. So he knows how to make it look like he's done something. But I know if he didn't give it 120 or done what he could do. So you can't BS me. And going back to your question, how did I balance that? I always made sure that he knew no matter what, that I loved him and I was proud of him. Like, even if he decided that he didn't want to do it no more, whatever he decided to do, I was going to be the same dad to love him the same way and push him and encourage him the same way. So it was never about what he was doing.
Yeah.
I always let him know that I was proud that he was my son, period, regardless of what he was doing.
That's great.
So, something that you said stuck out to me, excuse me, and I think that a lot of the listeners need to like focus on this. There is never a venue too humble. So the idea is, if you can get a chance to shine, no matter where it's at, do it, because it's not about how many people are there, how many people are feeling it, or if it's like YouTubeable or like you can do it like on TikTok or whatever. The idea that you're performing for the sake of performing, because you're going to be ministering no matter what. You're going to be using your gift no matter what. But that's giving you an opportunity to learn from something every single time. And that's something that I think everybody should take to heart, because right now we're not doing shows, like, you know, COVID, we're not doing a lot of shows. If you can just jump in like a Cypher or whatever, anywhere where you get a chance to showcase yourself, always do it, because you can learn and get better from it. So I think that's great. I think it's amazing that you were like, oh, I had him performing at a senior citizen center. That doesn't matter. It's like, it's a growth opportunity to learn how to perform better the next time, or to get, you know, you might mess up or do something and be like, hey, I really like the way I delivered that.
And to remember the humble beginnings of you know, where you came from, not just, you know, throwing people up on stage without going through that and doing shows in front of 5 people that don't like hip hop.
Right.
You know,
it's all about reps. So we always looked at it as a you know, sports metaphor. It's all about reps. The more free throws you shoot, the better free throw, you know, shooter you're going to become. So it was all about, hey, I don't care who call. If they got money, they don't got money, yo, we'll be there. We drove all the way across country for no money. For, you know, he said it when he won his Dove Awards. We went to churches and they gave us a chicken dinner. We went to churches and Aaron ripped it down. The Lord showed up. We did an altar call, and it was funny. We went to this church in Memphis, and Aaron did amazing. Did an altar call, sung, did the whole 9. And I was like, man, the Lord showed me he's going to bless us. And the pastor came and blessed us. And do you know the young lady who booked us for the show came and asked for some money back?
Wow.
And I gave it to her. I was like, here you go. It's like, here you go, sweetheart.
Wow.
Because I always knew the mission was bigger than where we were then. And we took it and we just kept going. It was all about the reps. It was all about the seeds. It was all about the souls. And that has been our foundation. So like you said, Aaron could have probably tried to go left or go the other direction, but he wouldn't have had peace with it because this is where he's supposed to be.
Well, one of the things that I wasn't in studio during the interview, but I was watching, and one of the things that I was able to pick up on was he obviously, like, he loves the Lord. You know what I'm saying? He's going to follow the Lord, and he respects you. And so he's following you as you're following Christ. So, like, obviously you are an amazing example as a father, right? But the thing that's really evident from just me listening to him talk is how much he appreciates and really marinates on what it is you have to say. Even like when he went to that little thing with the old girl, he was like, well, you know, I mean, that's a kid being a kid, you know, that's a dude being a dude, whatever. But ultimately he was like, you know, I've got like stress at home with the fam, like my, you know, whatever. And so he called out to God, and that's when he was able to find that clarity. And I don't think a lot of people in that position, especially where he was at, like talent wise, would have been able to do that had he not seen the example set. You know what I'm saying? So good job on that, because out of everything, like Aaron, he's a dope artist. He's a great performer, all that. Like he's a great creative. But my takeaway from the whole relationship between you two is a very good relationship between a father and a son. And that, I think, is what is the most important thing that you guys can minister with. Not the words, just your guys' relationship. That speaks volumes over anything else that's going on.
It was important to me. Two things was important to me when raising my children. Number one is not to pretend to be perfect. So I didn't want to pretend to be this perfect human being, this Superman. I wanted them to know that I was a man first, and that I wasn't going to do everything right. I'm not perfect, but my goal was to, number one, make sure that they knew that I loved them and that there's nothing that I wouldn't do for them. And the number two thing was very important to me is I've never broken my word to my children. All three of them would tell you, if I tell them I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, or I'm not going to be breathing. That's to this day. Aaron is 22 years old. I've never given him my word and not came through for him. My daughter's 20. She'll tell you the same thing. And my baby girl's 15. They'll never say that my dad gave me my word from the smallest things. And here's where parents a lot of the times mess up, and why the kids don't trust them and they don't have that relationship that they want. The parents say, hey, Friday, I'm going to take you to the mall. Friday comes, if they're tired or something happen, they'll say, I'll take you tomorrow.
Speak on it.
Not knowing that they're breaking the trust of the kid. If they can't trust you to keep your word on the smallest things, what makes you think that they're going to trust you to keep your word? You're always going to be there for them, or that they can come to you on something big. That's always been all I lived by. So my kids will tell you, they'll keep my word. And I think that's one of the reasons why Aaron does respect me the way that he does. And we have the relationship, because I've never broken my word.
It's good, man.
And I think a lot of parents will do that because they just kind of want to shut their kid up and not have them keep asking, instead of just saying no if you don't know if you can do it or not. And then maybe you can do it and you just surprise them like, hey, I will take you to the mall today. What are you doing? Let's go. But I think that's good, man. Like building that trust with small things. I think we think trust issues have to be big, like my dad wasn't there, or you know he was supposed to pick me up from school and he left me and I was there for 6 hours. But I never looked at it like that. Like simple things like will you take me somewhere? I think that's big, man. I like that a lot.
For sure. What's the biggest complaint of people who've had issues with their father? Like he said he was coming, he never showed up.
Yeah.
I was looking out the window. And, you know, different things like that. So I never wanted to be the man who promised my kids something and never came through. I never wanted them to feel that type of way, you know, or hurt that kind of way. I wanted to be a man of my word, a man of integrity, and do what I say I'm going to do. So they know my word is bond and it's solid. So, you know, like I said, Aaron's been a kid, you know, who hasn't been a kid and done some stuff. But no matter what, I always made sure that he knew I got his back no matter what. Like, if it all falls down, it's me and you know. And I don't know if he told you about the turning point. Did he talk about when he was in that group? So he was in a group for a year.
Yeah.
And he was in a group for a year, and the group literally, we were hurt based on everything we sacrificed for this group. And Aaron had this album. He trashed his album to work on this group album, and we did all of this stuff, and they all left us. And we were sitting on this very couch, and we were hurt, like almost to tears. And I said, you know what, son, go write me a record, and we finna kill them. And I said the word ninjas, if you know what I mean. I said we finna kill these ninjas.
Yep.
Right.
And he went in his room, and he came out with the record 15 is the new 15. I don't know if y'all heard that.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard it, go YouTube it.
Man.
I was like, that's it. Let's go. 15 is the new 15. Boom, took off. That's when he went and he won the Truths contest. That's what started blowing him up.
Yeah.
He went to a whole nother level. And this is when I knew he was going to make it. This is when I knew he was going to really be a star and go to the next level. We did a concert right after 15 is the new 15. We were in Greensboro, North Carolina, and I literally saw a light shine from heaven. And I saw him on stage, and all I could do was cry.
Wow.
And that's when I got the confirmation that he was going to make it.
It's amazing.
Here's a thing that everybody needs to take, like every viewer needs to listen to, like what you just said. Something happened and you guys were upset about it, and you guys were sitting on the couch, and you guys could have been like, man, like I'm hurt, like, screw this, whatever.
Want to give up.
And you were just like, you know what? Go write something about this. Like take what you're feeling and get it out. You know what I'm saying? And that
turning point, and I feel like God always does that.
Yeah.
With anybody that's successful, there's an opportunity to quit or to keep moving forward. Get out of your emotions and keep moving forward and take a different direction. And that's God showing that perseverance and bringing you through that trial to move forward in where he really wants you to be. Because if he calls you to do this, it doesn't mean it's going to be an easy road to get there.
Oh, it's never easy, ever. Like one thing I've learned is if God has called you, like if you feel like there's a calling on your life and there's something specific, and every single believer knows that there's one thing specific that they're like, I feel like God wants me to do this, whether it's big or small. Yeah. If that's what you're called to do, just like when you said, old girl came in as a distraction.
Yeah.
It's going to be the hardest thing until you actually say, okay, this is not in my power. Yeah. I'm just going to go with the gift. Like I'm not going to push it, nothing. And that's when it gets blessed. You know what I'm saying? That's when God will make it happen. And so, especially if it's your calling, if you're not sure, what's that old saying? If you're not receiving a lot of pushback or enemies, that means you're not going in the right direction, because you're Satan doesn't want you to go somewhere where it's like, if it's easy, there's nothing holding you back. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, everybody should hear that. Like all the viewers, all the artists, they should hear that. You know what I'm saying?
It's been rough, man. It took 14 years. We always say it took 14 years for Aaron to get to the first level of his career of, signing to Toby and all that. It took 14 years of constant grind, being on the road, practicing every day, writing songs, doing shows with 5 people, going wherever, loading up the van. It was one summer where we got in our van and we didn't come home. We were home 6 days out of 3 months. Wow. We were living out of the van and in Super 8s and, eating Waffle House, and we were just working the field, sowing seed. So, and so much so that one of those years, Toby was like, man, I watched y'all grind for a whole year because I would record everything and post a video every night and update the people, yo, we're in this town. And you'll see it. Like Truth even said in the interview, like, yo, he's like, man, they grind so hard. And I just wanted to develop that work ethic in him to where now, he can't be touched. And Aaron feels like he's older, but Aaron's just 22 years old.
He's young. He's just started.
Yeah.
He's just started. What's that like for you right now, Kelly, to be able to look back at where you guys started and then the process of him like signing to Goatee Records a few years ago? What's that like where you can just kind of sit back and look at that now and just, he signed to that's a major label.
Yeah. It's a great feeling because like you said, I know where we started and where we came from. And to be in a position where he's just 22 years old and never really worked a real job, and now he does ministry for a living. He does music. He uses his gift, and that's what's going to take care of his, his fiance and his future family. Like, man,
Yeah.
that's a proud thing. Most people don't know that was on our vision board. Like,
So
Toby Mac was on our vision board. The dove he won, it was on our vision board. Every year, me and my family, I give my family a vision. I write out a vision and a theme for the year, and then we do vision boards. That was on our vision board before it manifested. So when you saw us get crazy at the doves, it was like, man, it was coming true.
yeah.
It's an unbelievable thing, but man, it feels good. And I'm thankful, man. It's a grateful thing. Like, and I always have to sometimes reel them back in. It's like, look, man, what are you upset for? It comes with this. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
don't get upset about haters or whoever got to say about whatever. It's like, Aaron, we went from sleeping on church floors,
You
man,
know?
with no covers, to now you got a writer. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
That's
Like, I
crazy.
don't want to hear no complaining about nothing. Like, we just did an event. We had we just did a Chick-fil-A corporate event. A store had him come in and perform for their employees, right? Give you the difference in perspective. I was like, here you are. You made more for doing a 30-minute set than your sister did working 4 months for Chick-fil-A when she was in high school.
There it is. Speak on that, man.
Wow.
That's dope. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
That's fruits of the labor right there.
You know what I'm saying? Like my oldest daughter, she worked at Chick-fil-A in high school. She wanted to buy her own car. And I said, you literally made more than she made in 4 or 5 months for 30 minutes.
Hey, no venue too humble.
Like, what are we talking
For real.
about right now?
And I'm sure you got a free chicken sandwich to go with it.
Oh, the dude came in there with a stack of cards of free chicken sandwiches, like this thick, and we were just passing them out. I was like, just give me a couple of them.
Wow.
I'll give them to your sisters or whatever. And his DJ took some, and my homeboy took some. And plus, it was the back room was filled up with the stuff on his rider, and they took us to dinner, and they took us to breakfast. Like, dude,
Wow.
what are we really talking about right now? Like, man, be thankful, be grateful.
Hey,
You know what I'm saying?
speaking on that, where do you feel like the turning point was when you stopped talking to him as like somebody you were coaching and mentoring as your son, and just started speaking to him like a man? Because one of the stories that really stuck out to me, like when I was listening, was when he said, my pops came up to me and said, listen, if you're going to keep doing this, I'm out. Like, I'm done. Like, I'm like my hands
And that
are
was
off
with
of
the
this.
girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
And
was a
like, to me, that's like real talk. That's like man to man. Like, you and I are talking. You're like, you're not my son. Like, right now we are working together in tandem on something. And if you're not trying to follow the vision, like, I'm out, and that's it. So like, where do you feel like that point happened? Like at, where you stopped talking to him as if he was like your son, and you're just like,
Great
look, I'm
question.
talking to you like a dude. What's up?
Great question. So I've always kept it funky with Aaron. Like, we've always had that straight, real talk.
All right.
All right. So right before he turned 18, I knew I had a gap where I had to get as much in as possible. Because I knew he would be moving to Nashville, and I actually wanted him to move to Nashville. Like, I basically pushed him to go. But I had a plan. He didn't know I had a plan. But here's the thing I want to make clear. I've always kept it funky with him. I've always, spoke to him man to man. But once he turned 18, there was a shift to where I didn't treat him like a boy. I began to talk to him like a man and transition to a coach versus trying to parent him, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I shifted from parent talk to coaching, because coaching is different. Hey, I can give you the play, but it's up to you to run the play. Now, I can't make you, but here's what I would do as far as coaching you. And like I said, my like even with my dad, he had a tough time parenting adult children. And that's one of the things I wanted to take away and not follow that my dad did. Like, I'm gonna treat you like a man. Once you become a man, I'm gonna talk to you like a man and coach you and say, hey, I'm always here if you want the answer. I know the play to run, but I can't make you do it anymore. You're not under my roof.
Yeah.
You're grown. So you got to shift from being a parent to being a coach. Now, you're always going to be loving. You're always going to have their back. You're always going to do that. But it's not me making him do anything anymore. It's like, yo, I'm here. I know the play. I didn't been down this road.
How did he
Aaron's
receive it?
hard-headed. I know he talked about it a little bit. I can say, Aaron, I've been down this road, bro. You about to hit the wall. And Aaron's going to go 100 miles an hour until he hits the wall. And then he's going to be like, oh, yeah, you did say it was a wall.
How did he receive it? Well, like when you actually were like, hey, look, like, hey, it's on you. Like, this is what I would do. It's up to you. The ball's in your court. Like, was he like at
That's
first
what-
like, I don't trust you. I don't believe you. I don't believe the ball's in
Little
my court.
pushback.
Well, when the thing happened with the young lady, when I was like, look, I'm done. Like, you could play with your life. I'm sacrificing too much to be out here playing. That's the thing that forced him to go in his room and pray. Like, because I wasn't playing around. We had just done Universal Studios in Orlando, and here he is. He's sending her subliminal messages. He's talking to her after, he told me that he, wasn't talking to her and all of that. And I was like, bro,
Kelly.
I could be
He said her
Kelly,
name was like
Kelly,
Sean or
Kelly.
something. Like,
So he had her number in his phone as a homeboy's name as a homeboy's name. And we were worried because we're like, what if your dad finds you texting your homeboy, and see some of like the sweet nothings you're telling your homeboy.
he's like, who's this?
Yeah.
Do I have to have another discussion?
So he was hiding her phone number under a dude's name.
No, I knew all of those tricks. This is what I told Aaron. I was like, Aaron, just because I don't say anything, don't mean I don't know. So a lot of stuff he wouldn't think I knew, but I paid attention to everything. And that's how we got into it in Orlando, is the phone popped up and I knew it was her based on how he reacted to it. So I just played it cool. And then when I was cutting his hair, I was like, yo, I know you're still talking to her.
When he was
man.
telling that story, the first thing I thought
wearing the ring, he doing snaps and he twirling the ring she gave him. Man, it was some real demonic stuff.
Wow.
It was a spirit, bro. It was a spirit that took over him. I was like, son, don't you realize, like, I want you happy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want anything bad.
It's not like you're trying to keep him from dating or pursuing women. Yeah.
right.
And I was like, here's the thing that you don't realize. The hardest thing on earth to do is to fight somebody to help them. Like, this ain't doing nothing for me.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help you.
Yeah.
And that's been a constant thing with, I think he's trying to, he has grown to understand, like, yo, like, dad's really, like, he's doing this stuff for me. It's not really helping me.
Man, I can't believe he's like in his early 20s.
22?
And like he's 22 and the relationship is just so, and the reason why, like, just a little bit of background for myself, like I had, like, my dad wasn't there when I grew up, and so like when my son was born, like I'm just freaking out, like I don't know what to do. And so like when I was listening to him speak last week, I was just like, man, dude, this kid was brought up like good, like he was brought up correctly. That's awesome. Like,
he was literally everywhere I went, he was with me,
Man.
like side by side. That's how he was in the studio.
yeah.
Everywhere I went. If you go on my Facebook, there's a picture of him, like, on my lunch break at Blockbuster. I was feeding Aaron the bottle.
All right.
Like, he was like my little dude. Wherever I went, he went, and he was right there. So I literally wanted to pour into him everything good that I can give him, and wanted to, set his life up. And I always wanted him to look up and always see me there. The funniest story I've ever heard is like, funniest thing, one of the stories happened, we got a lot of them, but we were at the Dove Awards, not the one he won. I think it was the year before he won. And it was after the show, and we were on the floor, and he dapped up KB. And then KB looked up, and he was like, Pops, you always there, like lurking in the background, like Suge Knight. And I was like,
Like Suge Knight.
like Suge Knight.
Like Suge Knight.
I was like, you best believe it. If you see him, you gonna see me. Period.
That's good, man.
So you were always there every step of the way. So this is more of a question that I have, like, specifically for you about like what you're doing. So how much of the experiences that you have with your son how much do they influence, like when you do speaking engagements or like when you're writing something, like how much of that influences the way you're able to connect with people, especially because like speaking engagements, you have to be able to relate to because the crowd is like hundreds, but you got to be able to like do like I'm not sure, like a generic relatable thing. Like how much of that translates and like transfers over to whenever you're doing like an engagement or whenever you're writing something.
You know, the crazy thing is, like, none of it really, because I got trained in the church. So I think of my boot camp came from my dad in the church. So my dad was the pastor, and for a long period of time while we had the church, I was the assistant pastor.
Wow.
So my dad kind of threw me out there when I was afraid to speak in front of people, not knowing that I would end up speaking and preaching and doing a bunch of stuff. But he would say, yo, you go out there, you MC the service. I always wanted to be the guy in the back, in the back office. Like, that's why it was so easy for me to manage Aaron and handle the business. That's always the thing that I always wanted to do. But no matter where I went, I always got called to the front. But my boot camp came from my dad. My dad would call me 2, 3 in the morning and say, yo, you got your Bible? I'd be like, damn, I'm asleep. He was like, go get it. I want to show you something. And he'd go and we'd be talking an hour. I'd be falling asleep. But that word stuck in me. And then we'll go to church. He'd be like, all right, I want you to go up there. You lead the service.
Wow.
Or I want you to do this. So my boot camp came for our speaking and the stuff that I'm doing. It came from the church, and it came from, from my dad. So that's what taught me how to relate to different crowds and stuff like that without me even knowing it.
That's
crazy,
amazing.
man. That's insane.
That is
Funny story. Every time, I don't care where I go, I try to play the background. I always get called to the front. I remember we went to Crossover Church. Are y'all familiar with Crossover in Tampa?
Yep, Tampa.
Pastor Tommy.
Yep.
We're at Pastor Tommy's church. Aaron is going to be doing a song during offering. And so they do a sound check, but then they have prayer with all of their leaders. And I promise you, it's about 25, 30 people. And the Lord said, he's going to ask you to pray. And I said, Lord, he's got 30 leaders here. Why is he going to ask me to pray? He's going to ask you to pray. So we get in a big circle. I promise you, it's like 30 leaders. And he says, I want Sister So-and-so to start us off in prayer. And I want Kelly to close us out. And I was like, man, I could never hide. Like, but it's just part of, who I am. I always get called to the front. It don't matter where I am.
Tell us about the painting in the background. Who did that?
I was waiting to go.
Man,
there.
a fan did that for Aaron. A fan in Arizona did that for Aaron.
That looks super dope.
So we're actually in. If you saw the video of Aaron where he was like, "Yo, let me show you." He said, "Let me show you my room." You saw the little MTV cribs.
No, I didn't see that. I didn't see that.
Well, it's on his YouTube. So, like I said, I recorded everything. So there was one day we were recording a song, and I said, Aaron, let's show him your room. And I take him through this house. So we're in the house that Aaron pretty much grew up in. I'm getting ready to renovate it. So it's pretty much empty, and there was nothing on the wall. So I just grabbed this painting to put behind me. But a fan painted that for Aaron.
Wow.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. All right, so we talked about Aaron. We talked about your relationship with him. What are you doing now? Because now he's out of the house. He's in Nashville.
Yeah.
He's signed. Did you vote for Biden? Because that fly is all over your head.
Man,
I like the correlation.
I'm telling you, I don't know what's up with this fly, bro.
I've seen it bugging you all night. But tell us who is Kelly Colon? What are you doing right now? You're an author, a publisher. Yeah. So you're trying to help people get their books out. I see you all the time. Get your book out. You almost motivated me to write, a chapter, but I didn't. But talk about what you're doing now, because you do have a little more free time, right? Like, you're still managing Aaron, but you have more free time to do what you need to do now.
For sure. So the blessing throughout Aaron's whole career is I've always had a business on the internet. And these last 13 to 15 years, I started a book publishing company because it started with my first book. My first book, I got the idea from when ABC introduced Shark Tank. I started taking notes from the show and recording every episode. One of my friends found out I was taking notes, asked to borrow my notes, and said, "Hey, this will make a great book, and you should interview the sharks." And I was like, I never thought about that. So I emailed all of the sharks on Shark Tank. Barbara Corkin was the only one to hit me back, and we hit it off so well. I was like, "Barbara, you'll help me get an interview with Damon John. Like, that's the dude I really want to interview." And she was like, "Sure." She put me and Damon in a group text, and she was like, "Damon, get this guy an interview. He's a
Huh.
great guy." And Damon texted me right back. He was like, "Yo, hit my assistant. Let's set it up." So I took
That's
my notes
favorite.
from the show and the 2 interviews, and that became my first book called
Wow.
Conversations with Sharks. It hit #1 on the Amazon bestsellers list in the entire weekend, and that birthed my publishing company. And immediately after that, people just start coming to me and asking me, "Hey, how did I do it? How did I do it?" And me being an entrepreneur, I'm like, "Yo, let's go. We in business." And it developed the passion of helping people dreams come true of becoming published authors.
Wow.
So I have an amazing team. I have amazing, staff, and that's what we do, man. I help people dreams come true. I help people write and publish books and become best-selling authors. More recently, I just created a total new division focusing on former professional and college athletes, man. But
Okay.
it's doing really, really well. So a lot of those times when we would be on the road with Aaron, and he'd go to sleep, I would be up on my computer,
Hmm.
editing somebody's book or emailing somebody's cover to get done. So it's been a blessing to
Nice.
do it side by side. But like you said, I got a lot more free time now and been able to take my business to the next level. And I'm more transitioned to from Aaron's day-to-day management to his road manager now.
Okay.
So
Where
it's
can
a
we get?
it's a lot more freedom. But my girls are crushing it too. So my oldest daughter, she became an author in her senior year in high school. She wrote a book called "So You're Living for Christ in High School." She's in college right now at Lipscomb University studying theology. She graduated high school salutatorian, so she's going to come out. She's going to be a speaker. She's already doing engagements, and she's an author.
Wow.
My baby girl, she's 15, and you want to hear something? If she's listening, she's going to be mad that I'm saying this in front of everybody.
We love these.
If she said right now she wanted to do, like, if she said, "Dad, I want to do music," she would almost be bigger than Aaron. She plays the guitar and sings, worships, and writes songs at
Wow.
15.
Mm.
But she started a movement called "The World Needs More Love." So, and her name is a love.
Oh wow.
Wow.
But she don't want anything to do with the music. She just leads worship for her youth group. So she's the youth, the worship leader at her youth group. But yeah, man. So I'm managing all 3 of them right now. So,
That's dope.
but yeah, I have a team, man, and I love what I do when I wake up every day, man. Literally no complaints, man.
It's good.
God has been faithful. He's been good, and like y'all said, it has not been easy. At one point, man, we were almost homeless.
Yeah.
Like
Man.
we couldn't pay rent for 7 months, and then to come on this side to where not only did I buy the house that we almost got kicked out of, I bought the landlord's house. I bought the lot next to him. I bought the
Man.
lot behind him, and we're starting to build that generational wealth, man.
Man, testify, bro.
Yeah,
Because
that's dope right there, man.
that is people need to hear that because you were
Yeah.
almost evicted. Like everybody needs to grasp that.
Yeah.
You were almost evicted, and now you're showing like God gave you like that's the true meaning of
Yeah.
my cup overflows. Like man,
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, bro.
Listen, man, we are live with Kelly Cole. Follow him at Mr. Kelly Cole on Instagram. You can find him everywhere, man. But
Hey, real quick,
ahead.
Pastor Danny said, "I hope you all enjoyed the master class in parenting. This is how you do it."
hey, that's real, man. And that's coming from another great father who has raised his kids right, also, and helped raise, church kids right.
Yeah.
People that haven't had fathers and stuff like that. So that's dope, man. We got to get you and Aaron out here sometime soon, Kelly.
Oh, that'd be dope.
In Vegas, where y'all at? Vegas?
Vegas,
Yeah.
man. Vegas.
Yeah.
I love Vegas. Y'all want to hear a funny story about Vegas when me and Aaron was there the last time?
Yeah.
So we were there for the Stellar Awards, right? This is when Aaron was signed to The Truth. And Aaron was 15 years old, and we got invited to E1 had an after party for the Stellar Awards. We were on the guest list. We were VIP on the guest list. And the guy was putting the band on Aaron's hand, and he looked at him and he was like, "How old are you?" And Aaron was like, I'm 15. He's like, oh no, you can't go in here. He's like, you can't go in here. We're serving alcohol. And I was like, yo, he's with me. I was like, I don't drink. He doesn't drink. And you see, we on the VIP guest list. He's
Yeah.
like, I don't care. He's not going in. So I was like, all right, Aaron, you stay right here. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna go in. Aaron was so mad at me. He didn't talk to me the rest of the trip.
You left him.
Because I went and I left him. And then I did one of those as I'm going up the escalator. I gave him the peace sign. I was like, I'll be right back. And I went in there. I ate some food and came out.
Oh, you ate a whole meal though.
I ate a whole meal, bro.
Hey, look,
'Cause they
that's
had
the dad card.
They had,
You can
like,
do
it's
that.
magic going in a place, but they got a station full of soul food. They got Chinese food. They got Mexican. Man, I ate, drunk a Sprite, and came out. Aaron was mad at me the rest of the trip. He didn't talk to me the rest of the trip, man. I had to buy him some shoes before he'll talk to me again.
You have to tell him, man, what happens in Vegas, right?
It stays in Vegas, yo.
Oh man. Well, listen, next time you guys come out here, man, we'll take you out to dinner. And we'll make sure he can get in because he's old enough now to get in anywhere. So
yeah, he's 22 now, so he's
good. He's good now.
But yeah, I love Vegas, man. We got to come out of there. Come back out there.
Let everybody know where they can get your book. And I like, is it just like you publish, right? So like, are you editing?
Yes.
You're editing other people's stuff as well. Tell everybody where, if they have those, they're trying to get into that market, like where they can go to find you, so that way you can help them out.
For sure. So anybody interested in publishing a book, I have a free masterclass. It will show you how to become a best-selling author in 30 days. Even if you hate writing and don't know where to start, you can go to bestsellercircle.com and go get access to that. All of my books, you can find them at mrkellycole.com. So those are the two places you can go. If you want to follow my social media, it's on the screen at Mr. Kelly Cole on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And just check me out. I do daily quotes, motivational quotes. You might see some stuff about Aaron, some funny pics on there. But yeah, at Mr. Kelly Cole is all of my social media, and at mrkellycole.com. You can check me out and book me to speak.
Book him to speak. I mean, listen, we got this for free. I feel like I need to pay him now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But what would be your main one key advice that you would tell somebody that is kind of teeter-tottering whether they want to write a book or not? What would be your piece of advice to get them over the hump?
They're teeter-tottering on whether or not they want to write a book.
Yeah.
Number one, if it's tugging at your heart to write a book, you need to write a book, because you don't know who that book is attached to. So like your story or what God has given you is attached to somebody else's deliverance. Like I wrote a book called Solomon Wealth Formula in 2016, to where I still get emails and people DM me and tell me how much that book changed their lives. So you don't know whose breakthrough is attached to whatever God has given you. And if you have any type of specialized knowledge, you have testimony, you need to write that book, because it's going to deliver someone and help someone. And the second part to that is, if you're doing any type of public speaking right now and you don't have a book, I guarantee you're leaving hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table by not having a book. And if you want to get into speaking, a book is going to open up the door for you to get more paid speaking engagements. The week I launched my first book and it hit number one, I got a call from Norfolk State University. And I want to paint that picture. So not only did they pay me to speak, they paid my travel, they paid my hotel, but then afterwards they took me to my favorite restaurant, and I sold $500 in books.
Wow.
Man, you're talking about a great day. How do you think that ride home was? I was like, this is it. I ain't doing nothing else.
But the fact, I mean, $500 worth of books, if you didn't have the book during that speaking engagement, that's $500 that you wouldn't have made.
On the table.
So that, man,
now think about
big.
those bigger engagements. Like I've had bigger engagements where I sold $1,500 in books, and then another $500 in T-shirts. So I just took one of the quotes from my books and made it into a T-shirt. So, but yeah, that's a whole nother thing. We get into merchandising and creating more products and coaching and all of that stuff. So I got all of that, coaching programs, courses, all of that. So yeah, it's all about turning the book into a business.
Make sure you follow him because I follow you and I see everything you're doing on Instagram and everything. So everybody follow him right now. Quit sleeping. Because here's the thing. People are giving free knowledge on social media all the time. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to pay for everything they do. Sometimes you just follow them and get what they're doing. But if it is blessing you, if it is something that is motivating you to go deeper, then pay for somebody's service. Buy a book. Help support these people that are out there working really hard to help you out. I think it's very important, and I think especially somebody that we know is legit. He doesn't sound like somebody that's just trying to sell a book. He dropped a lot of knowledge in this hour and 7 minute interview so far. He's legit. We know he's legit now. He's not just somebody trying to sell you something that's fake, and then you read the book and don't get anything out of it. He's legit. There's a lot of meat there. I think we could have a 3-hour conversation and still not even get enough of Kelly Cole, man.
Oh, most definitely.
Definitely. I feel like, man, we've been talking for 10 minutes. I just pray I provided value, man.
You did.
I'll get this to anybody. Like you said, you can get a lot of good information off of social media or somebody's social media, but invest, if you have the resources, invest in coaching, because you want to be in the room, if that makes sense. Like you want to be in the room. I paid my coach $10,500 last year, but it put me in a room with other multimillionaires and people who can invest in my services just by me paying in the room. So I'll never wait that long to invest in a coach. This is the first coach I invested in, and it has, man, I have 20x my investment. So you do the math.
Wow.
That's dope.
Wow.
That's dope.
So yeah. So, and I'll go into the music thing. I'll say this last thing and then we'll roll on. So as you know, like a lot of people have came to me and asked me, how did I take Aaron here? How did I do this with his career? And they want me to manage them. And I was like, listen, you don't want me to manage you. You want me to work for you and do the same thing I did for my son. And you can't afford me. Like literally. In order to get a manager, you got to have something to manage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have anything to manage. So you basically want me to work for you and build your career. No, I can't do that. But I did create a course walking people through the exact formula I took Aaron through. And I also gave them access to my circle. So I sat down with the president of Goatee Record. I sat down with the president of RCA Records. I sat down with the booking manager. I sat down with them and I put it all in the course, along with how to go on tour, how to get sponsored for tours. And I created a course called Access Granted, the indie artist blueprint to advance in their career. So that's available too. MrKellyCole.com.
That sounds dope. MrKellyCole.com. Make sure you guys go get that. I think a lot of artists need that because here's the thing. Even help manage. You have to have that work ethic. I mean, you heard about the boot camp. He had a boot camp, guys. So if you want someone to manage you, I've had the same thing where artists have seen that I've managed other artists in the past, and I want you to manage me. I'm like, first of all, I barely know you.
Right.
So how, we don't even have a relationship yet.
Sure.
What is your work ethic like? Because I'm too old to just walk with somebody and not have it be anything and not have it be successful and get something for it. But where is your work ethic? And bottom line, I would say 90% of artists, maybe more than that, don't have the work ethic to make it.
Yeah, they don't want it. It's not a.
They're trying to make something to go viral real quick.
That's it.
Right.
Wow. Yeah.
Right. And then it fizzles out, and then they don't know what to do. Like they don't even know what to do if they do go viral.
Yeah.
They don't even know how to maximize that. If they do go viral, then what?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's why the group Aaron was in, they quit. Cause I was like, yo, once the group started popping off, I was like, hey, guys, the tour's about to end. I was like, hey, does everybody agree if I don't book us a show that we're in the studio on the weekend working on the album? Everybody said yes. So every weekend we either had a show or I booked a studio session. Do you know we had an argument because they said, yo, you don't even ask us if we got something to do. And I'm like, knucklehead, I asked you before you agreed is this what we're doing?
Yeah.
So why do I
Wow.
have to ask you again if you're available? If we say we all in, we all in.
And if you want me to manage you, let me manage you. That's why I got out of artist management, because the artists were a little egotistical and they wanted to do what they wanted to do and then throw you under the bus when things weren't going down right.
Man.
Be my guest.
Man.
Last thing I always tell people, I can give you the formula, but the thing that has separated us is God's favor.
Amen.
I can give you a formula, but I can't give you his favor.
Can't.
So many jewels being dropped, man. So many gems, man.
Yeah.
I hope everybody's picking them up, man.
Bro, we appreciate it, man. Can you do 2 reviews with us? Can you do our first 2
Sure.
reviews?
I feel
With
bad for
us.
the first 2 because if they
Y'all
are
got
good,
me hype. Y'all got me hype. I feel like I'm gonna stay up all night. Yeah, I got you. Let's do it.
All right, listen, we're going to get into the music and video review segment of our show. We didn't get a whole lot of submissions tonight, so we have 4. We have 4. So we're going to get into them right now, which will be good for us because we get to get out of here earlier too. So listen, man, you need a couch or a coach, C.
I know, I saw that.
He said I need a couch. I think you need a coach. You might need the coach that's on the couch. I don't know.
You might need that couch.
Exactly. But listen, we're going to get into C. Duffel first. He's the first person to submit tonight. So we're going to get into that song. The song is called Ripperbait by C. Duffel. I like the album cover or the song cover much better than the previous ones. But this is C. Duffel right here, Speak Life Radio, live music and video review. Here we go.
I better hear
You mean to tell me, after all we've been through, you gonna leave me for sin? I got something for you. I'm gonna turn you into a reprobated mind. That's what you want, right? That's what you want, right? After all that I did for you, I laid down my life for you. You gonna remember who I am. I am he. Do you know who you messing with? Apparently you don't. I remember the first time when you told me that you love me and that I am your God and there's nothing that's above me. Playing in your mind and this road is getting ugly. Stinking in my nostrils, golden caps, it's just your must be. Must be the sin that you living in or them secrets that's deep within. Your canvas is darker than the richest of melanin. No matter how dark you get, my son's light, it will never bend to your will of selective grace. You keep making dumb mistakes. You blame it all on your flesh. In your flesh I have conquered. I gave power to give you rest, and through death while you ponder. If I fool with your mess, I want your all, I expect nothing less. I gave my all, why you think you so blessed? Look at them trees, see that we're manifest. That's how I am, I see that light through your chest. You owe me life, homie, you still in debt. Don't play with me, I'm in control of your breath. You think you stable, but I order your steps. Spit in my face, you want death. Well, I guess you gon' get what you want. Countless times I protected and provided for you. But you wanna straddle the fence. You wanna live that great life, huh? You can only live for me or you can live for him. Which one you gonna choose? And I see you made your choice, huh? I did. Your mind is reprobated. With devils you conversated. Anointing is compensated. Your will you have levitated. Your plan you have consummated. My word is not you debated and molded and try to shape it, but I just refuse to take this lack of respect. I promise when I'm done I lack the regret of all that weight that you put on your chest. And when calamity starts bringing up stress, I grab your hand and shove it all in your mess. You ate that vomit, smell it all on your breath. Who are you? I don't know you no more. Don't come to me cause I don't know you no more. After this whooping, promise you gon' be sore. A simple life is gonna feel like a chore. Don't cry to me because you opened that door. I gave my heart but constantly you ignored. I gave you grace, that's something you can't afford. You kept on cheating so you get your reward. And that's on baby Jesus, I promise this ain't your kingdom. You looking more like your master, that dragon is underneath you. Got that frog in your mouth, keep on like it then. You ain't safe when you enter my likeness then. You ain't done, you can't even comprehend. All them loss you receive is not common sense. Lucifer is your God and you can't pretend. I be knowing that snake, I created him. Got control of your mind and he got your limbs. Trafficking on the earth, so she tryna win. Ain't got long before I lock him in the pen. You can't play a creator, you ain't my friend. Look at all the conditions you living in. I'm the one that created the son of man. By the law of men, you are not a 10. You won't make it in. Looking in the book, you not written in. And I bet you shook, thought you had your 10. Wanna be the goat, forget about the lamb. Just forget the soap, you can't wash your sins. You ain't even you just want a man. You begin to have fun to believe a man. And that's the plan of the fold of the son of man. You see the horns of the goat of this government. And still you fall for the fruit of this neverland. You play the fool, but you're not this covenant. I crack the sky, see the glass of the firmament. My word is true and your will is irrelevant. You choose to die like your life was never meant. This is the truth in the room, not the elephant. I gave you life in return, you were negligent. I tried to help, but your ways were too negative. So I removed all my grace from your residence. I removed all my grace from your residence. Your life, your health, so your death is your recompense. I get my pay from your work or your laziness. You say you love, but you curse with abandonment. The trumpet sound, but your soul will be staying in. The greatness for all the saints who will rise again. The realm will come and destroy all this wicked sin. The horse is white and the bow in the angel hand. This is the church of the true living God and man. I see the cup of the beast drunk and all the men, except the ones who was marked by the angel's pen. This is the words of the realm who will come again. You can't keep doing me like this. I forgive you time after time.
All right, that is C. Duffel, Reprobate, right here. Speak Life Radio, live music and video reviews. It was dope, man. Like, that was really dope. My critiques on it, though, I will start with my critiques. The intro was a little too long.
Yep.
I wanted him to get into the song a lot quicker. It kept going. It was dragging a little bit. So if I'm just listening to that in my car, I might turn that off, just because of the intro. But the beat did keep me going, so I'm like, okay, I know once he gets in, it's probably going to be dope, right?
Yep.
And I kind of felt that going into it. So me personally, I probably would have kept the song on, but definitely shortened that intro and the song in the whole. Even though you had a lot of switch ups that were super dope, the song was a little too long. You're at 4 minutes and 38 seconds. I ended it at 4:27, so there was still a little more left to drag on. I would have cut at least a minute off that song. People want quick songs now, like 2:40, 3:10. You know, you don't want a long, almost 5 minute song anymore. You know what I'm saying? Even though it was dope that he switched up a lot, and he had a lot of crazy drops and crazy flips of his rhyme patterns. That was pretty dope. And then the artwork itself it's one of those moving graphics on YouTube. I like how the fire came into the eyes later on in the song as he went a little bit deeper. Really dope song, man. I really like it. We rate this 1 out of 5. I'm going to give it a 4.3. It probably would have been way closer to a 5 if you would just shorten it up a little bit. And can you hear it all right, Kelly? Were you able to hear the music and everything?
Yeah, I heard it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I heard it.
Cool. I'm gonna let you go and get on your critique. And we rated 1 through 5, so you could do a point, 4.3, 2.5, 1.1 if it's horrible.
Yeah, no. It was definitely not horrible. Like you said, it was a little bit too long. It took long for me to get into it, and I think he tagged me into that on Instagram, so I knew I had heard it before. And like you said, I turned it off before the intro, before it kicked in. And 2, it pissed me off that he tagged me in it. So don't tag me in nothing that I don't have nothing related to. So that's not a way to get your music heard. A great way to get your music heard is being on stuff like this, where people are asking for critiques. But don't tag people who you think, because of who they are, they may listen to it. But that's the best way to turn me off, by tagging me into something. So when I saw it, I was automatically turned off because you tagged me on Instagram. So, but far as like hearing it now is long. I'll give it a 3.5.
Cool.
Because I did like the switch ups, and when you start rapping faster, kind of went off a little bit. But hey, it's something that'll get the attention. But we had to go so long to even get to that. If you want to go back to watching some of Aaron's shows when he got older, we came out with the stuff that would get your attention first. So if you perform this record, I would never do this first. Yeah. You want to grab the attention of whoever, the audience first if you're doing the performance. So, and I
think overall with the song, you did have a lot of switch ups, but to shorten it, you could still have those same amount of switch ups, just shorten everything so it's formatting a little bit better. So tighten up your formatting of your songs. And I think we've had that issue with C-Duffel before. Just formatting a little bit better. You're right there. I think you're right there as an artist. Yeah. You need a little more coaching or couching, whatever you want, but just tighten things up a little bit. Joe Seif.
So definitely. So if I have my one critique on this track, I would say all of your talking, because I'm not sure if you're speaking from the first person of God, or because at certain points you start speaking in different like tenses. You know what I'm saying? So the track can speak for itself without you saying anything in the hook, like where a hook would go. You're like, well, I guess this is what you want, huh? Get rid of that, and then just make it to where like once your verse is done, boom, give it like 2 bars and then just jump back in. That way it's just like random spitfires. Like, remember how you felt when you listened to like a Wu-Tang joint when there was no hook and everybody was just after another boom, boom, boom. Like, just give yourself a breath and then just come back in with the verse, because man, there's so much content in the verses, right? And then just the artist in me, certain parts in that last part where like when you were da 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 da, like I could hear the punches. So work on maybe trying to deliver it without having to punch so much. And then that way, because like if you're delivering it all together, like most MCs, most artists will hear the skill in you delivering it without the punches. And I would literally take all of your monologue out of it and just make it just be just raw, because that's like one of those tracks where it's like if it was just and that would shave down a bunch of time on the track. Yeah. So I would give it I think this is your lane. This is similar to the couple weeks back when I heard it. So I'm going to give this a solid 4 or 5.
Okay.
Like because I really like what you're doing. Just especially on that, like, because did you notice that the beat also switched up when his lyrics switched up? So just work on those punches, man.
Because it's all good, but just structure it tight. Tighten that up, and you'll have something a lot better.
This is some of the best I've heard.
Yeah.
Like,
all right, moving on. We're going to get these next 3 out of the way. Is Rev KJ Blaine featuring Big Pook called Old Me. The video is 5 minutes and 14 seconds long. So I promise you I'm not going to play the whole thing.
Man.
But here we go.
Trying to live right, trying to do better. Man, got some old me in.
I see you, boy. What's up, what? It's been good, 12. Been a minute.
need some Lux on that video.
I had to come back home, man.
Long time no see, man.
I know you heard the album.
Word on the street, though. You ain't the OKB no more.
Man, please, I still got some old me in me, boy. Don't get it twisted.
Hey, that's what I said.
Let's go.
I already knew it.
I
know it. I already knew it. I already knew it.
Whoa.
There was like straight silence.
Should have just started the song right like this.
There.
We didn't need the skit.
Yep.
And then there's filters now on the video. There wasn't on the album.
Trying to live right, trying to do better. You know, be a family man, help people, but the devil, he don't want me to keep it together. Man, now I got some more me in me. I wanna do right, try every day. But what do I do when there's haters all around and Satan all up in my face? Come on, I got some more me in me. Trying to live right, trying to do better. You know, be a family man, help people, but the devil, he don't want me to keep it together. Man, I got some more me in me. Yeah, I wanna do right, try every day. But what do I do when there's haters all around and Satan all up in my face? Yeah, no weapon form shall prosper. I was a bad actor, no Oscar. I ain't got beef with anybody, no Big Mac, no Whoppers. Got some stuff to get off my chest, so please don't interrupt me. Yes, I'm saved, I love the Lord, but that don't mean you can touch me. Wait.
Whoa, that hurt my ears.
That's what it is, man. That's what it is, bro.
Minute, I'm a funny guy. Y'all know I'm crazy.
Bad actor,
but I'm
no
not
Oscars.
acting. Trying to live my
He
best
said himself.
life, keep my guard up.
He said
and I
himself.
can't be slacking. It's like the devil wanna remind me of what I used to do. He want me to fail, but I come too far to go back now. Gotta keep pushing, got a sword to tell. They said I wouldn't make
What
it.
they talking about?
Breaking news, I believe they lied. I ain't always made the right moves, but I keep God first, and I always tried. Every day I gotta kill this flesh. God put good inside of me. I ain't never going back to that old man. I keep him locked up, and he can't leave. Lord help me please. Why? Cause man, I got some old me in me. Try and live right, try and do better. You know, be a family man, help people, but the devil, he don't want me to keep it together. Man, I got some old me in me. I wanna do right, try every day. Trying hard. But what do I do when there's haters all around and Satan all up in my face? I got some old me in me. Try and live right, try and do better. You know, be a family man, help people, but the devil, he don't want me to keep it together. Man, I got some old me in me. I wanna do right, try every day. But what do I do when there's haters all around and Satan all up in my face?
Lim 13, 19. Yeah. Brought out the little me in me. Little me. No way ain't gonna change on me. My baby girl, you can see her in me. Hey girl. Lifestyle change for the better. She love watching daddy when he count that cheddar. Still making moves, but a whole lot of real checks. Put some money up, she ain't worried about the next check. Still got a little me in me. Plus a background, you can check with the peach. I'm a dog for this new me. Steady growing with the fam, got some good seed. Couple Snapchat posts, we ain't tryna stunt. We just doing what we do when we really want. Still got a little me in me. That's a whole lot of me in me. Big poop involved in me. Might have said bad, tried to send me up the stream. I was blessed with a thing by any means. I never changed on me, but I found some ways I can better me. Big poop,
All right, that is Rev KJ Blaine featuring Big Pook with the Ed Hardy shirt from 2003 called Old Me. And if the old you wore Ed Hardy, then I guess that fits the song. I did not like this song at all, and my critique is probably going to be very bad. I'm going to go to the acting in the beginning. That whole skit was unnecessary. I don't think it was needed. And it only do skits and videos if they're really dope. But even that, like, when it comes to music videos, you want the music to come in right away. Our attention spans are not long enough to have a skit.
Nope.
TikTok videos are 15 seconds for a reason, because our attention span isn't more than that, you know? So you don't need that. And to the skills of the song, it sounded very basic. Like, I love the message, the old you don't want to go back to that. I get it. Yeah. But it sounded so old school, and you're not old enough to sound like you're from the 80s. And to me, it just sounded like the old guy trying to rap a youth group. The old guy in the church that used to rap 20 years ago that wants to prove to the youth group kids that he could still rap, and he comes in and sounds like that. Listen, man, I love the message. Not trying to kill, your whole ego on this, but it's just it was basic. It was just basic. So I think it could have been a lot better. I'm gonna have to give it a 2, because even the skit, like then there was like a sudden skit in the middle that just kind of randomly came. The audio on that was peaking and just very high. Just the whole everything. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I didn't like it.
So,
Kelly, I'm gonna let you go.
Oh, okay.
I agree 100%. Not only did the Ed Hardy shirt make it look dated, like you said, but the messaging. Love the message though. It definitely took me back to the early, stages when we called it gospel rap.
Yep.
So yeah, definitely don't want to take away from that, but yeah, it's not something that I will listen to today that would keep my attention. And I was having this conversation with a friend today. I would rather listen to a podcast than listen to that. Like, it's got to be something really dope for me to turn off educational stuff. But I'll give you a 2.5 because of the message. Yeah, I like the message.
And here's the thing: if you guys have a message, we want you to speak the message, right?
Yes.
But do it in a creative way.
Yeah.
Something that we haven't heard before, and just do something more. Be more creative with the message. because like we talked about before, everyone could get a beat and write some lyrics, you know? So just do it different. Just do it different. Be a little more creative, and keep going. So Joseph.
So I'm looking at the comments, and I think that we're actually getting some feedback from the artist, and he's saying one of the things he said, I guess I should have just sent the track. Here's the thing. We will always give an honest critique here. So the fact that you're taking it with like, you know, alligator skin is good. Like you're just like, hey, you know, all right, you know, you weren't feeling it, cool. Maybe I should have sent the track instead. Always, if you feel like your strongest step forward is going to be the track and not the video, then do that. Because when it comes to visuals now are so you need to come correct when it comes to the visuals. And normally I'm very graceful when it comes to like giving critiques on certain things, but on this one, man, like the video was not doing it for me. There was like no color filters. There was no LUTs in the beginning. There was no, and then like during the video, like it was so dark that I couldn't see.
Well, and that was the thing too, because you mentioned it at the beginning when they're doing the skit, like they need some LUTs on there. And then when the video started, they had filters. You know, so keep those same filters on the beginning too. So
again, like I don't want to crush or kill a dream because I'm just some dude, right? But like if your thing is you want to get into video, look at other videos you want to try to emulate, like study it, see how they did it, and then follow through.
Don't just make a video to make a video.
Don't make a video to make a video. And then this is my peeve. I don't like watching videos when like the beat will stop, like DJ Khaled would come in like, hold on, stop the music. And then like the whole music video stops. And I'm thinking in my mind, well, is this really how the single's going to sound when I download it? Because if it's not, this video is not a good representation of what your actual record or your track is going to sound like. You feel me? So like, just focus on the track. And if you're trying to do a visual, focus on the visual. Make sure that the visuals are correct. And if this was like your first, second, or third time, hey, it looked good for what you're trying to do. Just keep progressing and getting better. But as far as like the delivery, a lot of my crew used to tell me that like I was really basic in my rhyme patterns. And so I know what a basic rhyme pattern sounds like because that was me.
Yeah.
So I would say like tighten up the technicality on your delivery, because if it sounds like how Kwame was saying, like you sound like somebody from the 80s, like, you know, if it's really like da 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 da, it's not going to catch anybody in 2021.
But it wasn't even that. It was like da 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 da. I don't know. It was just super too old school.
And then
let's move on.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm gonna give it. I'll give it a 2.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, next song is DJ LC Morality and Authority Sound. The song is called Skyline. We got 2 more. They're short songs. We're gonna jump into them real quick right here. Speak Life Radio.
Conversations of contemplation. Destination is greatness. Excellence embodies living. Been receiving dreams of vision. I would say we've risen. They praying for us to fly, but we headed to the top. 4-course meals, lava bogu. Catch us on your Roku. Halo glowing like Goku. Blowing like Vietnam. Hit the mic like a spirit bomb. Classic vintage. Sound developed by my ancestors singing praise. Flow coated in the Everglades. Yes, we are saved, but we are still in the midst of finding a purpose. We developing hits with our evangelical lips. Beauty bonds, brilliance in the benign. The vision of these visionaries led to this walk of my kind. We choose to follow the footsteps of Christ. Watch him lead our every step, every breath, every sentence that passes our ever-changing lips. The sight of such glory, the feeling it amidst. Created crevices in the cracks of my soul. God sweat cleaning the breeze, cemented the cracks with scripture. Held together with his spirit's flame. Could I frame this present picture?
Wow.
How could I frame this present picture?
Yeah. We're from God, gave me life, now I'm living clean. Living vagabondish, Air Max, no B&Bs. Now they want the truth, so tag along, we come in peace. Take us for no dummies, boy, we graduated A's and B's. Ain't no plotting on my low, we see your plans from A to Z. Got 26 letters for every word, speaking openly. Dragons got that fire, burning bridges to the older me. The words I'm saying always slaying, killing demons globally. Different language. Like an alien, call it Planet Sheen. Got more holy water than the Navy in the 7 seas, dripping with the vision. They can tell that I'm a Christian, cause I saved them souls. Hook 'em like I'm fishing.
Beauty pines, brilliance in the benign. The vision of these visionaries led to this walk of my kind. We choose to follow the footsteps of Christ. Watch him lead our every step, every breath, every sentence that passes our ever-changing lips. The sight of such glory, the feeling it amidst. Corroded crevices in the cracks in my soul. God swept cleaning the breeze, cemented the cracks with scripture. Held together with the spirit's flame. How could I frame this present picture? How could I frame this present picture?
All right, that is Skyline, DJ LC, Morality and Authority Sound right here, Speak Life Radio. Joe Seif, I'm going to let you go first.
Okay, so I was feeling this track 100%. Loved his voice. Loved the way you rode. You had somebody else on the track, yeah?
Yeah, 2 other people.
Yeah, man, fire. Like, I really like this track. I think there was a little bit too much reverb, though. It was like the vocals were like really high above the beat. I feel like they could have blended better. But I'm solid 4 or 5 for me, 100%, because this is my vibe. I want to know where I can download.
Yeah.
Like, where can I purchase this song? This is a dope track.
Dope. I liked it. I liked the first verse more than anything. The first verse was really dope, and I think the features fell off a little bit. So if you're gonna have somebody feature on your song, you better make sure they're on the same level as you. And going, Kelly Cole, Aaron Cole's track last week. I can't remember the guy's name that was featured with him and Toby Mac on their new video. They were all on the same level of dopeness. You know what I'm saying? So if you're gonna have features, you better make sure they're right up there on the same level. And that song, to me, it fell off after that first verse. It was still good. The other verses were cool, but it fell off to me. The first verse was really good, and then it fell off. And then the beginning, that piano sound needed to be mixed or filtered a little bit. It was a very harsh, sounded like an unmixed and too loud with the piano. So for that, I did like the song. It was a dope vibe, but I'm gonna give it a 3 because I feel like it fell off. Kelly, what you got?
Man, you took the words right out of my mouth. I would have almost wished he did the whole record himself.
Yeah,
because I
definitely.
love the beat. I love the vibe of the song. But then, like you said, when that feature came in, I was like, man, it kind of took away from the record. But overall, man, I enjoyed it. Probably my favorite one from tonight because of the vibe. Like, I can really ride to that.
Yeah.
I can really ride and get lost in my thoughts with that whole vibe of that beat. So I'm going to give it a 4, man. I enjoyed that.
Dope.
Good work.
There we go. All right, the last one of the night is Young Priest the Preacher.
Okay.
Called Talk
Young
Is
Priest.
Cheap. Right here, Speak Live Radio.
I was down on the ground, now I'm back on my feet. Told coach, don't sub me out, I've been shaking dust with my cleats. Gotta go back to my dreams, no matter how hard it seems. And I gotta bring my team, yeah. We know they talking shit, we can't give no less. Working like ain't no rest, hit different when you bless. We gotta give it our best, what you expect? Pulling up D like we play on the next. Me and my brothers, we coming on next. I'm flying that pressure, we still need next. My haters, they hating on me. They watch it like Patty Philippe. They ain't gon' make a peep. My father, he making a feast. I'm a big deal, I'ma eat. Best like read him and weed. I'm with no friends, but I gotta stay deep. My family, they counting on me. It's motivation, cause I know they believe. I made it out in the mud. Now I'm cleaner than soap, some subs. That means I'm risking the blood. Got it so goody to plug. Always dependable, people expendable. I was trying to drop they 2 cents. I got the bill cover you a new sense. Back up, devil, I'ma do this. The professional put in this proof in. I was down on the ground, now I'm back on my feet. Told coach, don't sub me out, I've been shaking dust with my cleats. Gotta go back to my dreams, no matter how hard it seems. And I gotta bring my team, yeah. We know they talking shit, we can't
of me. Everything devil is done to me. Saying my blessings are lottery. Only will make it by luck, so we watching me. More than like playing the pottery. Out in the wilderness wandering. Demon, it's time to be slaughtering. Being about it ain't not just wondering. Straight every time when I'm hollering. Yelling out Jesus accomplishing. Asking my blood on astonishing. That's on my blood, man, I'm honoring. But from the top, man, it's bothering. I need to make it feel God within. I need to breathe before I get the wind. Out on the ground, but I felt the wind.
I was down on the ground, now I'm back on my feet. Told coach don't sub me out, I've been shake the dust with my cleats. Gotta go back to my dreams, no matter how hard it seems. And I gotta bring my team, yeah. We know they talk is shit, we can't give no less. Working like ain't no rest, hit different when you bless. We gotta give it our best, what you expect? Pulling up D like we play on the nets. Me and my brothers, we coming on next. I'm flying that pressure, we still need next. I was down on the ground, now I'm back on my feet. Told coach don't sub me out, I've been shaking dust with my cleats. Gotta go back to my dreams, no matter how hard it seems.
The truth. All right, that is Talk is Cheap, Young Priest the Preacher featuring CS Lit right here. Speak Life Radio Live Music and Video Review. I forgot to shout out the sponsor, man. Revive Collective Apparel. Get 15% off. If you go Speak Life Radio Fan 15, go to revivecollectiveapparel.com. I've wore that shirt a couple times already, man. I love the shirt. It's the same font as the Pray shirt I'm wearing. And I didn't do that on purpose. I just keep getting free clothes, and it's the same font. But I love it. Revive Collective Apparel. Follow them on Instagram as well at Revive Collective Apparel. ReviveCollectiveApparel.com. 15% off. Code is SpeakLifeFam15. So the last song of the night, man, the bass was mixed too high. I kept looking at my EQs to see if that was my fault, because I've done that before where I just had the EQs too high on the board, but it was just overwhelming. I think it was mixed too high. I do not like artists, especially Christian artists, talking about their haters. I do not like when people mention their haters. I don't get it. Most of you don't have near as many haters as you think. And even if you do, why do you focus on haters? I don't get it. Like, shut up about your haters. Who cares? Your supporters are the ones you should be focused on.
Yep.
Your haters are not going to buy your music.
Yep.
Your supporters are going to buy your music. So I know that's a little rant, but I hear it so much in music. You're a Christian. Quit focusing on the hate. Stop that. Everybody. All artists, put your pen down right now. Put your phone down right now before you write about your haters. Stop. You don't have any haters.
It's motivation.
For real. I like the track. I wasn't in love with the feature. I see C. Duffel in here. Love the feature. Again, that was a song to me that didn't need a feature because the feature fell off to me. Young Priest the Preacher has a really dope voice, and I think he could have kept that whole song to himself. You don't need to get the homies on it, and I think it would have been better, but mixed better. If it was mixed better, I probably would have liked it a lot better. And it reminded me of another song. Like the hook reminded me of something else. I can't pinpoint it, but it almost sounds like everything you hear right now. But I still like the vibe. It was still like the beat was really dope to me, but it needed to be mixed better. So I'm going to give it a 3.2 because I did like the vibe, but I want to hear more of your stuff without features because I think most things you send have features. So Kelly, I'll let you go.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna give it a 3. I'm not gonna talk much about it, but like you said, it sounds like something I've heard before. I like messages. It's something I can listen to in the gym.
Yeah.
When I'm on the treadmill or something to keep me going. But I'm gonna give it a 3 because it sounds like something I've heard before.
Yep.
So I'm going to go on record right now for every other Speak Life radio show. Like if somebody has a whole bunch of that filter on it, that auto-tune, you're automatically starting at a 3 and you're going to go down from me. Because like, bro, I want to hear your voice, man. Like it's hard like for me to listen to auto-tune. And definitely that low end was just really rattling my headphones. So work on the mix a little bit better. Like your delivery's dope, man. I just want to hear you. I want to hear your delivery without the auto tune. So like, I'm going to give it a 2.
Okay. There you go. Harsh. Kelly Cole, man. Follow him at Mr. Kelly Cole. Go to MrKellyCole.com. Buy some books. Do whatever. I mean, listen, man, he dropped some knowledge. If you guys are just tuning in right now and you missed it, Make sure you check out the replay. Follow us, subscribe on YouTube, and check out the replay of the interview, man. It was great. We definitely need to get you in the studio, man. So whenever you and Aaron want to come to Vegas, we'll work that out, get you in the studio. It'd be fun, man. Get you out here to Vegas. But we definitely appreciate your time, man. I know it's super late. It's almost 1 a.m. over there.
Yeah, man. Thanks for hanging in.
Yeah.
Thank God I make my own schedule.
Hey, that's real. That's real. But we appreciate it, man. Any last shout outs you want to give before we let you go?
Nah, man. Thank y'all so much for having me, man. This was dope. And like you said, man, I could do this all night. I love what I do. I'm super grateful to be in this position, and I just thank God, man. It's been His favor, man. Last thing I'm gonna say, I was sitting at the Dove Awards, our very first time at the Dove Awards, and I asked God, I said, why us? Like, why us, God? We haven't worked as hard as other artists. We haven't invested the same amount of money as other artists. We haven't been as faithful as some other artists. And He said, son, just and simply enjoy my favor. And that has been my goal ever since. Just enjoy His favor and make sure I'm staying humble and staying grateful for it. So that's it, man.
That's great. That is great. That's Kelly Cole. Make sure you check him out. Follow him on all social media and buy something. Listen, man, we appreciate you guys for tuning in and watching us late night right here on Speak Life Radio. We might have a show Friday. We might not. I'll let you know. I'm working on a couple of interviews. If we don't get them, we're not doing a show. And who cares? Because we'll be back next Tuesday for sure, though, with another dope episode of Speak Life Radio. Favors not fair, folks. Shout out to everyone tuning in. Pastor Danny Hand, I missed you at church this morning, man. I was there. I don't know where you were at. Make sure you're there on Sunday. Be there on Sunday.
Under the bus.
But we appreciate everyone for tuning in. And rest in peace to DMX. And we're out. Peace.
Yeah. Peace out.